Welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be practicing a programming question which is worth 20 marks. So this is the question that we are practicing. So now we are going to define some terms which we defined in previous videos, which are what we refer to the data type, what we mean by the variable, the standard namespace in C++. So now before we can be able to answer such a question, let us be able to define those terms. So a data type is just simply defined as a classification that tells the computer what type of data a variable can store. So again, a data type is a classification that tells the computer what kind of data a variable can store, and how much memory to allocate it. So now data types that we have, according to the previous video, we have the data types. We are looking at things such as int. What is int? Int means integer. So if you allocate integer, it means to say you're looking at whole numbers. So this represents whole numbers. Now for example, you can write the word int. Now remember, C++ is case sensitive, meaning to say you write your small letters like that. So it should be int. Then you can say a variable can be more like anything that can be used to represent it. Like for example, you can say a variable of age. Age means that there should be a certain, age is a word, but there should be something that should represent the word age. Like if you say x, you can say x is equal to 10. That is the same with age. It is a variable. So the data type int, then you can say the integer age of the person is equal to, let's say, 20, like that. Now remember, in C++, I told you that just think of this as your full stop. So each time you write, you put your full stop like that. So now this is a data type like that. Int age like that. You can write it like that. There is also the data type float. Take note that they are all in lowercase, or rather small letters. Then you can say float. Float, we talked about it. This is used for decimal numbers. So now these next decimal numbers that you are going to be using are, it should be maybe just 2 decimal places. Like for example, you can say the data type float. That means floats, you are dealing with you are dealing with decimal numbers. You can say float, let's say the height of the person, which we gave as an example last time. It will be equal to, we are going to have something like 1.75. When you write the data type on C++, it becomes colored like that. But if you begin with a capital letter, it will not be able to recognize it. So all this will make sense. So we have the float like that. Then we also have the data type double. So this type of data type double is used for more precise decimal numbers. So you can have more precise decimal numbers. Mostly they will tell you for float when it has got 2 decimal points after the 2 numbers after the decimal point. But double, you can use it in such a way that maybe the example that we have here is, let's say we have double, which we are going to discuss, 0.556. You use double for more precise. 3 or more, mostly we are going to be using double like that. So that is the data type. The other data type that we have is the bool. So the boolean, if you write like this on C++, it's wrong. Though it's boolean, but you write in, you don't write it in full. So this is how you write. Then it will be registered as a standard C++. So boolean, which is bool, should be equal to, or bool deals with something that has to do with true or false. So you can be able to say the bool, you want the boolean of someone's grades. Let's say if the person passed, if they passed, you will be able to say true. If they didn't pass, you will be able to say false. But your C++ will show a 0 or a 1, if you recall in the previous video. We also have the C++ will show 0 or 1. We are going to practice some of these things. Now we also have what we call the data type string. So the data type string, which is used to show the text. Mostly string, we can use it. Let's say if you want to show a name, you can be able to say string name should be equal to, you have your equal to. So remember, this full stop should show, we have this, just think of it as your full stop. Even after doing the float, you show that. It's important. Then we look at the string name. So you say Steven. Now this, it has to be put in double quotations like that. So you use it mostly for names like that. Then you put your full stop there. So now make sure it has to be lowercase like that. So that's the string which will be used for text. If you use a capital letter, it won't be able to register. Now, if you recall in the previous video, we talked about the standard namespace. So the standard namespace in C++ is what we call std. So this one already, it's more like when you just put std, your computer understands what the cout means, your computer understands what your cin means, and the end L, which is end line, if you recall in the previous video. But what that means is that if you don't put std, like let's say what we discussed, to say using namespace std, that means to say if you omit this, that means to say every time you have to use cout, you will have to say before you use cout, you will say std do this. Now to avoid that, we just use using namespace, or you can say std where you have to use cin. Cin is used when you want to enter data. So that is basically what we looked at. So to prevent you every time writing this, you will have to use using namespace on top. So that is basically what we discussed in the previous video. Now let's answer our question. So the question says, you are tasked with writing a C++ program that converts a temperature given in Fahrenheit to Celsius. The program should prompt the user to enter. So this is, read this very carefully. So you are asked to write a program that converts a temperature. So we are converting temperature given in Fahrenheit to Celsius. The program should prompt the user to enter the temperature in Fahrenheit, meaning to say it's more like it should tell the user to enter the temperature in Fahrenheit. That's the meaning. So how do you tell someone? By, if they see something, then that means to say you have told them. This will make sense as we look at questions. Then when reads the input value, to read the input value, it means to say the computer is the one that is reading. So the computer can read if you enter. That means for reading, to read the input value, use cin. Cin is used if you want the computer to more like allow the person to enter a certain number. Let's say if you say cin will be preceded by this. Cout, if you recall, it will be like that. Then we have calculate the equivalent temperature in Celsius using the formula. So this formula is important. We are going to use it. Then display the converted temperature in Celsius to the user. Then here we are told the program below has the most of the lines missing. Each comment in the code represents both the question number and the hint of what needs to be done. In your answer booklet, write the correct C++ code for each question number. you must indicate the question number. You must indicate the question number for every line of code you write. Each question is exactly one line of code. Ignore the structure of the program. Then we are told answers without the question numbers or wrong casing, which means uppercase or lowercase. So remember, C++ is case sensitive, so will be marked wrong. So let's answer now. So our first question is this one. We are told, number 1, include the necessary library for input and output. So the library for input and output, if you recall, it is the one that involves input and output, that allows you to enter something. Let's say if it's 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. What allows you to enter 2 plus 2 and to be able to give you this 4 is the library which is used for input and output. So for question 1, what we are going to use, let me zoom it. So what we are going to use for this one, remember, the first thing is hash include. So make sure this one is in lowercase like that. So then we are going to say IO stream, which is input output stream, like that. So you doing this, it means to say input output, you have included it, includes the necessary library for input and output. So you will say hash include. Already they have told you to include, everything is there. So include, so you say hash include input output stream. So if you have watched the previous videos for programming, this becomes a walk in the park. So as you can see here, I have already run the program of which I'm going to be explaining. So here what you are going to have is the hash include IO stream, like that. So by doing this hash include IO stream, we have included the inputs that we want and the output stream. So that's the library that they want there. Let's move on to our next question. For question 2, it says that declare a constant code ratio. So this ratio is the variable, and assign its value 0.556, that is 5/9. No data type is given. So already when they tell you that no data type is given, you are going to say, so the data types, remember, we have string, we have double, we have float, we have integer. Now looking at this is not an integer, it can be used for double, but they have said no data type is given. So what we are going to do is, so how you answer, so you are going to put, let's say question 1, you indicate question 1, your answer is this. So you are going to say question 1, your answer is hash include, make sure that they are in lowercase, insertion, so we have IO stream, like that. Then for this one, declare a constant code ratio. So this constant, so here what we are going to have is, we are going to say for question 2, they want a constant, meaning to say it is not changing. This value of 0.556, it's not changing. That's the meaning of constant. So we can include that. So how you write in C++, how you write the constant, you are going to say, in short, it will be constant. So we don't finish the word. Let me just write the T like this. So we don't finish the word, so it will be constant, like that. So this is how you write it. So it will be a constant, like that. So it's a constant number, it is not changing, it is 5/9, which is 0.556, like that. So it's a constant. Then you are going to say auto. Now why use auto? So auto is mainly used, it tells the user what type of variable to assign, or rather the data type to assign. Like for example, when you say auto, So this is the meaning. Constant, auto. So auto means this could be double, this could be float. The computer itself will figure out which one to use. Like for example, if you say auto, constant auto, then the data type is the ratio, so the actual thing is the ratio. So you write it like that. So ratio should be equal to, we are going to say 0.556. Let me write it properly. 0.556, like that. So now what this actually means is the fact that you're going to put your full stop like that. What this means is that this auto stands for the fact that it's automatic. So just looking at this number, your computer will be able to process the information and know that this auto I'm using is for double. Auto can also mean, if let's say I was to put 20 here, it could mean that this data type is integer like that, or this data type can be, if I put a name, auto can be able to register as auto can be able to register that I am dealing with string. So when you say auto, that means no data type is given. It means to say you are saying that this auto represents any data type that is appropriate. So you'll be able to say 0.556. So constant, auto, ratio, like that. So as you can see, it is here. So we have the constant auto ratio, which should be equal to 0.556. So if you run this program, it will be able to run. I just want to point out something. So as you can see, these that are in the words that are like this, it means to say they are recognized by C++. You can see C++ itself changes color whenever you write something. Like for example, if I was to change this constant, I begin with a capital letter C, you will find that it's not changing color. It is important, the case is important, so it is case sensitive. So even you, when they are marking you, they will look for these cases. Like floats, you cannot write floats like this. You can't write float like that. You will have to write the small letter like that. So now let's move on to our next question. So for our number 3, it says do a single line comment that shows another way of declaring ratio when the data type double is indicated. So remember, a comment can be used anywhere, and it is used to show the one who's, let's say, running the program, the next person, what you were doing. So if they said that using the data type double, display, okay, let's say declare a constant code ratio and assign, let's say the question was declare a constant code ratio and assign it the value of 0.556 using double data type. Let's say if it was like this, so the answer could be constant, because the number is not changing, it is just 0.556. Constant, instead of using auto, you are going to use your double like that. Double ratio. So ratio in this case is a variable. It represents a certain number, which is equal to 0.556. If this question was using the double data type, this could have been the answer like that. Remember your full stop, don't forget it. Now they want a single line comment. So how do we execute a comment? Comment, you just put these two. So this is how you make a comment like that. So this is basically you making a comment. Now what it means is that single line comment, it means you do this. We are going to use another way of a comment, but for now, so single line, if you see single line comment, we are using this like that. So just you doing this, your C++ will be able to not execute this, but it is something that tells the one who is looking at your program what you want to do. So this is do a single line comment that shows another way of declaring ratio when the data type double is indicated. So that is constant double ratio. So you don't use two data types at the same time, like say int double ratio. You don't do this. You cannot use two data types at the same time. It is not allowed. You cannot use int boolean. You can't. If you use int, just use one data type like that. So basically that is the answer for that one. So for number 4, though it's not here, so we are going to put double slash like that, then do the needful. So that is what we do for a single line comment. Okay, let me enter the comment here. So we are going to say double slash like that. Then we can say constant double what did we write our code as? Constant double ratio, which should be equal to 0.556 like that. Then we are going to put this. Then if you don't leave space there, it's okay. So that's a comment. A comment will be shown in green in this case if your background is white. So that is you making the comment there. Number 4 says declare the standard namespace. Already they have told you declare the standard namespace. So the answer is after this. So it's here, but due to space I'll write here, but it is coming before int main. So we are going to say that declaring the namespace, if you remember in C++, the namespace, we are going to say using namespace std. So this is you. So when you declare this, it means to say the standard, just you using this, it allows you to use cout properly and cin. It will be recognized. And like each time you write cin, you have to put the std like this. That is how you write without this, the namespace. Even here you can put std. Now to avoid that, when you use standard namespace std, it allows you to display the information like that. So this is what we mean using namespace std. So this is very, very important. Without this, it means to say for you to be able to, let's say, cout here, you cannot just write cout. It means you have to put std like that, then put these double of them. That is if you have omitted the using namespace std. If you have omitted this using namespace std, it means to say for you to show it here, you have to use std. For you to also use the cin, it means you have to use std. Now to avoid this, what we do is that we just write the using namespace std. So that is why that is important. Now looking at our next question, after you're using namespace there, then we have the int main is down here. We have the int main like that. Number 5, insert a one-line multi-line comment explaining the purpose of the program. So the comment for multi-line is this. You use this type of a comment, then explaining the purpose of the program. So remember, the purpose of the program is that you are tasked with a C++ program to convert temperature given in Fahrenheit to Celsius. So that is the purpose. So we are going to say exactly that. So we are going to say that using this, then we are going to say this program This program converts temperature from Fahrenheit. Let me reduce the font. Fahrenheit. Make sure the spelling is correct. Fahrenheit to Celsius. I don't have space. Celsius, but for your books it will fit to Celsius, like that. So this is what our answer is. Then we are going to put, we can end, so it will end like that. So this is our comment, like that. Okay, let me just write it properly. So we said this program, so this is how you write this. So this program converts temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So this is how we do the comment. So this is how we do the comment. The multi-line comment, single line, you use double forward slashes, like that. Then the next one, which is our number 6, so you can see it, slash, like that. This program converts temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius, like that. So you doing that, that's how you declare a multi-line comment. Then the next one, declare the variable Fahrenheit of the type float. So this is a data type. So what we are going to say is, you're going to say float. You begin with your data type, float. Then what is your variable? The variable is your Fahrenheit in that case. So you're going to say float Fahrenheit. Now, if we were told the number to initialize simply means, in this case, they want a number for it to be equal to. We are going to put an equal sign, let's say 5, if we were given a number. But if you are not given, declare the variable Fahrenheit of the data float. So you're just going to say float Fahrenheit, then put this, because they haven't given you the type of data you should initialize, or the value you should initialize. So that means you have declared there. Number 7, declare the variable Celsius of the type double and initialize it with the value 0.0. So you are going to write this value, but you are going to say double, like that. So you are going to say double. The variable is Celsius, so you are going to put your small letters just as they have written. So you have the Celsius, like that, which should be equal to 0.0. So when you are done, you put your full stop, which we are saying that it should look like this. So for that question, that is our answer. Double just the data type and put like that. Number 8, prompt the user to enter the temperature in Fahrenheit. So prompting someone is you telling the person to enter. Now, how do you enter? How do you prompt the user to enter the temperature in Fahrenheit? It is by them seeing on their screen that it has told them this. So you will understand. I will show you when I display my result. So you're going to use, to prompt, you're going to use cout. You want them to see, this is output. So the output, what is the output? What you are able to see. You're prompting someone, you will see, it will make sense. So you're going to use your cout like that. Then you are going to use these insertions that are used for cout. Then you are going to put it in brackets. Then you are telling the person, enter the temperature, enter temperature in Fahrenheit. Let me lift this. So you are going to say, enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So enter temperature in Fahrenheit like that. So you can even put whatever you write, it will be what will be shown on the screen. Let's not forget the quotations. If you want, for this one, it's totally optional. The dots, it's optional. If you want, you can omit them, but they just look good, you will see. So this is what we have. Then our full stop like that. So this is how you do it. So cout like that, enter the temperature in Fahrenheit. That's prompting someone. You want them to see this. So they can only see this if it is displayed on the screen. That's why it is an output. So let's look at what I'm saying. When you say here, you can see cout, enter temperature in Fahrenheit. You can do it like how I've done it, or you can put end L. If you recall in the previous video, end L is to end line. That means if you continue, it will be on a different line. So this is you prompting the user. If I run my code, you will see something like this. It's telling enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So that means you are telling the person to enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So that is what we mean by prompting someone. So you use cout so that they can see it. You don't use cin there. So you use cout like that. Question 9. We are told to read the temperature value into the Fahrenheit variable. So remember, for the reading the temperature into the Fahrenheit. So the computer can only read if you enter, like for example, 2 plus 2. If this 2, you enter 2 and a 2, then it can output something. So the computer is the one that is reading, so it has to see. So you will say cin input. So you will say cin like that. Remember, these are small letters. They have to be small letters. Make sure that they are in lower cases. Cin like that. Then cin uses these types of insertions. They are in the opposite direction. Then you reads the temperature value into the Fahrenheit variable. So you're just going to say cin Fahrenheit. So you're just going to put your variable like that, Fahrenheit. So this allows you to be able to enter any value that you want. Without this, you can't enter the value. You will see. So like for example, so you do that. For example, if you look at this cin like that, you will see that if I run my code, I can be able to enter any value that I want. So we have, let's say I enter my 34 like that. It will be able, since my formula has been given, since I already have the formula, it will be able to give me my answer, 1.112 degrees Celsius like that. But this is only possible because there is cin there. Without this, without the cin, let's say if I was to remove, let me first copy so that I don't have to type this. Let's say if I was to remove this, my code will run enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So the answer has already been given, negative 17.792 temperature like that. I can't enter anything. Even if I press, it won't appear. It won't allow me unless you allow the computer to read. So that's why your cin there is very, very important like that. That's why your cin is very, very important. With this, when I run my code, it will run, and also that means that I can actually enter a number and it can allow me like that. Whatever number I enter, it can be able to calculate. Then when we look at our next question, which is saying calculate the Celsius equivalent and store it in the Celsius variable using a ratio in your formula. So already they have just told you to enter the formula. Now what does the formula say? So this is your formula. So all you have to do is, so you remember your ratio is 0.556. Then they have said using ratio. So here you just put ratio. Then you put Celsius is equal to that. So that is basically answering that question. So all you have to do is that using the Celsius variable, we are told calculate the Celsius equivalent and store it in the Celsius variable. So we are going to just say for question 10, we are just going to say that it will be equal to Celsius, which should be equal to, we are writing the formula, use ratio in your formula. So you will say Celsius ratio, like that, Celsius ratio. Then the formula was saying that it is asterisk, which is times, asterisk like that, asterisk like that. Then you are going to have your Fahrenheit minus the 32 like that. Then don't forget your full stop. I hope I haven't forgotten. So just be calling it full stop so that it's much easier to remember. Remember what we did for cout. We have completed it somewhere else. Where was it? Yeah, this was for cout. Yeah, we have written it cout like that. So as you have seen, these are showing in that code. If you omit them, it's okay, it will still run, but don't just omit these. These are important. These are important. These are a mandate. Cout, you write like that. Here you can put either lowercase or uppercase, because this is what you want the person to see. Whatever you write here is what is going to be shown on the screen. If you write, as you can see, if I run my code, it will tell me enter in capital letter. Even this is showing. Even this is showing. If I write my in small letters, let's say if I write the word enter with a small e, it is what is going to be displayed on my screen there, as you can see there. So here you are going to use the capital E like that. Like that. So enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So we have answered question 10. Use the ratio in your formula. So instead of using 5/9, they want ratio. So you say Celsius is equal to ratio times this asterisk. Then we have Fahrenheit minus 32, remembering our full stop like that. So we have answered that. For number 11, which says that display the temperature in Celsius, the display after the program runs should read something like 4.5 degrees Celsius. They are just saying degrees Celsius. It's showing us degrees Celsius. They are not saying that this should be our answer. They are just saying that assuming 4.5 is the answer. So whatever answer we should have, it should have degrees Celsius. So pay attention to this. This is what we want to see. Degrees, capital letter D, degrees Celsius, capital letter C, like that. So this is how we are going to write. Now we want to display. How do you display? By C output, that is you displaying. So we are going to say, let me just copy this, then paste it here. So we are going to say that using cout, that's how you display. So we are going to say question 11, we are going to say cout like that. Now which one? Cout, you use double insertion like that. For the first one, if you want to display something, then they have given you the exact words. Now remember, your formula was saying that we have Celsius in small letters like that, which is our number 10. Calculate the Celsius equivalent. Celsius should be equal to, we had the formula ratio, that was question 10, ratio asterisk, we have Fahrenheit minus 32. So minus 32, like that. So this was our formula there. Your formula is written with a small Celsius, so you're going to say Celsius. So you are matching it with the Celsius that is there, so that it will know that they are talking about this previously introduced Celsius, like that. Then you are going to use another insertion. So this one, the first one, if you have to, this one is just telling the computer where you are getting the Celsius. Then you are going to use a double insertion like that. Then what do you want it to display? So we are told that it should display degrees Celsius. So we are going to write it like that and say degrees Celsius. Celsius. Like that. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. So we have cout like that, Celsius like that, which tells the computer the previous formula, or rather the previous thing that was used. Then here, this is what we want it to display, degrees Celsius. So remember, when we say, let's say 44, the answer it will give us is 6.672 degrees Celsius. So this degrees Celsius is as a result of the fact that we have put it there. Okay, let's say this Celsius was removed and we put anything. Let's say we put 5 and see how the program runs. So this 5 will be able to show for each output we have. Let's say I press again. Let's say I put 100. So it will use the formula and then it will be 5 like that. So whatever you put here is what is going to show. Now see, Celsius is written like this because it is here. We want the computer to know for what are we getting the answer for Celsius from. It's there, it is from this formula. So that's why there it is important for you to write what they have told you, which is our degrees Celsius, like that. Last question, which is return 0 to indicate successful program termination. So question 12. So if you recall, to return 0, we just write. They have written capital letter, but you don't write the capital letter. You write small letter. So return 0 like that. Don't forget your full stop, as I like to call it, like that. So that is how you write. So just take note of the case. Return small letter cout, small letter cin, small letter double, or the data type small letter. The integer is also a data type. Now this integer main, remember the main function, it begins. So if you say you are saying that it is beginning with an integer, it should end with an integer like that. So you return an integer, which is 0, to show that my program has been successfully completed. Then we have this at the end, which we have already in the question. So that means there's no need for us to write. So we have gotten our 20 marks like that. I hope this video has been helpful. Kindly like, subscribe, and be able to comment for more very effective content. See you in the next tutorial.